Did you know Serena Williams is, with all of her fame and skill sets and being a top pro, she's the only female in the top 100 list of the highest paid athletes. She generated 27 million in comparison to the highest male athlete of 93 million annually. So that's a $66 million wage gap. And there's a lot of debate on whether females should be paid the same as males. So we'll dive into, is this justifiable? Is it something we can reason through and actually make some sense of? So ultimately, it really comes, at the end of the day, it comes down to how many people are willing to watch or attend your sport when it comes to men versus women. How much revenue can you generate for the investors? So the top WNBA salary was $117,500 in comparison to the NBA, who had $37.4 million. Obviously, pretty significant. There's even an instance of a golfer, Dustin Johnson. His caddy has actually made more than all but three of the top female golfers. But then you look at tennis, and the wage gap is not as significant. It's actually comparable in men versus women. And then when you come to basketball, not even close. One of my close friends is a marketing exec for the Chicago Sky in the WNBA, constantly saying how hard it is for them to generate attendance. They almost have to give away tickets. It's just there's not the same drive that you would get in the male-dominated sports. So ultimately, it's going to come down to your sponsors. You know, the WNBA has an ESPN deal, which is about 25 million annually. The NBA is 100 times that for the same time period, which is 1 year. And that's really what generates most of the athletes' pay. Sponsors, investors, ticket sales, things like that. And then you can get into viewership. In 2015 NBA Finals, there was just under 14 million audience in viewership. When you compare to 828,000 for the WNBA. So networks, advertisers, investors, they don't see this as a great return on investment. It doesn't look like a good deal to them. Nike, being obviously a huge investor in all sports, they haven't even made a signature shoe such as like Jordan's, the Kobe's, LeBron's shoes, things like that. They haven't made a WNBA signature shoe in over 20 years because they don't get the viewership. Their brand isn't pushed like it would be when you have 14 million versus less than a million. So what do they base the wages on? It comes down to the skill set and the marketability of the player, and the better they play, the more they contribute to a team, the higher their contract renewal will be. So if the fan interest is high, fans want to see this player, they want to see this team, everything goes up. Concessions, tickets, parking, jersey sales, you name it. It's just a revolving door of endless possibilities. So the NBA will actually pay their players about 50% of their total revenue, and the WNBA is only about 23. So that sounds like a significant disparity. Yet when you look at the NBA has higher overhead, they're generating more money, they have bigger stadiums, more advertisers. It's actually comparable. So it really still comes down to less money generated. And then the other thing is, it's probably debatable, but male sports are typically a little more exciting. They're just from a physiological sense, they have a greater potential, bigger, faster, stronger. So things happen faster, people hit harder, and people like to see that. Another interesting statistic is women have a higher rate of injuries to their knees and shoulders. The knees are being contributed to the wider pelvis, so it throws off the kinetic chain, and the shoulders is just due to less body mass. So many investors really don't think they're going to get it back. So while I think women definitely could be paid more based on their skill set, you're not going to pay a low entry level worker, or even a mid level worker, the same as your CEO. So if you look at it with that analogy, it actually kind of makes sense. And this graph will show you, this was Cristiano Ronaldo, 93 million compared to Serena. And I mean, in conclusion, like, I do believe they should be paid more, but you have to generate the revenue to become a good investment. Thank you.